morning, everybody, and welcome to the St. Mark's Kids Chat. The last couple of weeks, we have been focused on what happened after Jesus' resurrection. We've been talking a lot about the early church, but this week, we're going to rewind a little bit and talk about a couple of things that happened with Jesus when he was living here on earth with us before he was resurrected. This week's Sunday school lesson is about when Jesus fed the 5,000. You guys remember that story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a pretty popular story. You've probably heard it before. Jesus was going around and performing lots of miracles, right? So he was healing the sick, all kinds of things. And so people were drawn to him when they heard that he was in town. Groups and groups of people would start kind of following him. And pretty soon, one day, he had about 5,000 people that were following him, which was amazing, right? That's a lot of people, exactly. So, Jesus asked one of his disciples named Philip, he said, okay, Philip, where are we going to buy bread to be able to feed all these people who have now come to see me? And Philip was like, feed 5,000 people? That would cost like half a year's wages, right? Like that would be really expensive to feed everybody. So Philip was doubting that, Jesus would be able to provide for them in that way. But Andrew, which was one of his other disciples, said, here, I found a little boy who has 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish. Okay? So let me ask you, do you think that you could feed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish?
No.
What do you think? I don't know. I mean, it could barely maybe feed just our family alone, right? So Jesus thanked him, and he prayed, and he gave thanks for the food that was given to him. And you know what happened after that? Jesus began distributing the food, and guess what happened?
It was just never ending.
It was never ending, exactly. So let's imagine how much 5,000 people is. This is a picture of the seating chart for the Luther Burbank Center here in our city, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a place where people go and they watch shows, and it's like a little theater. Imagine there's about 1,600 people that can fit in that theater. So imagine 3 theaters, so 3 Luther Burbank Centers worth of people is how much Jesus was able to feed.
Whoa. With
just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
Mm-hmm.
So how did he do that? Like, do you think that us as humans could do that?
Definitely not.
No, it was a miracle, right? Only Jesus could multiply that much, this little of food into this this amount of food for everybody. So, I mean, we probably could have like split it in half and everybody could have had a tiny little bite, right? But in the Bible, it actually says that they ate until they were full, which means that there was definitely a lot of food to go around, right? And did you know that there was actually 12 baskets of food left over afterwards? Pretty amazing, right? So, it just goes to show that God can provide for our needs. Like, his disciples were like, how are we going to do this, God? I don't understand what we're going to do. So, but trusting him allowed for him to provide for us. So we definitely need to trust him and give thanks to him whenever he does amazing things like that. So we're going to do a little demonstration that just shows how Jesus can take something small and make it into something big.
Like a tiny mento.
Yeah, so we're going to go outside. This demonstration is a little messy. So what we're going to do for this demonstration is we're going to take a bottle of diet soda, and then we're going to take a little container to put on top of the soda that has Mentos in them. Mentos. I don't know if you guys have ever had these before. But it's just going to demonstrate how Jesus can take something very, very small and make it into something very big. So let's go outside. Okay, we are outside now, and we're going to show you guys the demonstration of how Jesus was able to take something very, very small and make it into something very, very big. Okay, Sawyer, pull the pin. Whoa!
I want to go drink some!
Pretty amazing. Okay, so what did we just see?
We just saw something super tiny turn into something huge.
Yeah, exactly. That little Mento. Well, there's a couple of Mentos, a couple of small Mentos kind of similar to a couple of small loaves of bread turned into something really big, right? Exactly. So, but we couldn't have done that on our own. Only Jesus could have done that. So it just goes to show us that we can trust God, right? That we can trust for him to provide for things even when we think it's impossible, right? Did we think that something so tiny like a tiny little Mento could produce such a huge explosion of soda? No, it's hard to know, right? So because it shot up almost as tall as our house, right? It was like this never-ending fountain of soda that just kept going and going and going. So the never-ending fountain of soda was similar to what Jesus did. It was like never-ending fish and never-ending bread that he was distributing to all of these people. So anyway, so yeah, this was a great demonstration to kind of show God's power and that we can trust God even when we think something's impossible.
Soda.
With soda. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.